Remember that everything that we experience in our life goes through the filter of our own minds. And the filter of our mind is based on our past. So as people share their opinions, I always believe that it's always from a heart-centered place, even if the words may not seem that way. When we get to the base of it, they may be scared for this person and they don't want them to be hurt, or they are scared for themselves and they don't want to be hurt. And so it's all going through the filter of their mind. So if we are doing things based on the opinions of others, we're really attuning to somebody else's past. And that seems like kind of a sticky place to try and grow from somebody else's past. Hey, Yogi Triathlete community, welcome back to the show. It's Jess and Beej, and we're here with our monthly show. I don't even know what to call it anymore because we haven't been taking questions, but right now we're going to leave it as Ask YT. If you have a super creative title for our monthly show, because sometimes we take questions, sometimes we don't. We're always getting questions, and so that's always fueling the things that we're speaking about, even when we don't put a call out for questions. So I would love to hear some creative suggestions about what you think this monthly show should be called.
Yeah, what's the essence of it?
I like that.
Because we like to riff sometimes and just talk about what we talk about basically every day. So yeah, if there's something creative, you guys,
and we'll give you some kind of prize. We'll give you some kind of prize. We'll give you a
trucker hat.
All right, trucker hat. How about a trucker hat and a beanie hat?
Trucker hat and a beanie?
Yeah. Do we have them left?
We have two left. 2 beanies left.
Okay. All right. If they're not already sold, you will also get a beanie. And if you're like, I don't want a beanie and a trucker, but I have a better idea of what you can give me, then let us know. We're all channels open. All channels open, right? What can we give you? My coat, BJ's hoodie? What do you want?
My only hoodie.
All right. So here we are. It's January 2021 and intentions for the year. What do you have for some intentions for the year, which is part of your Awake Athlete community homework, by the way?
Oh, it is? What is the Awake Athlete community?
So you want to talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we're coming back to your intention.
Okay.
Is this a stalling mechanism?
No stalling.
So you can
I just think
figure
it's important
out what your intentions are?
To share with those that aren't awake to what you're providing yet.
Yeah. So the Awake Athlete community was inspired and created to support those listeners who were really impacted by the Awake Athlete podcast, to support them between seasons. So these are people who are like, I'm in, I want to be an Awake Athlete. And I have had some people say that, and no, I'm going to pull the covers up and I'm going to go back to sleep. And that's perfect. Like, that's perfect. Pull the covers up. I always trust that you get whatever you need from whatever interaction that we have. It's so perfect. And I was there so many times, so many years. So the Awake Athlete podcast really launched this community on Patreon. So it is a private community on our Patreon page. And the Patreon page, you guys, is what is keeping this podcast and the Awake Athlete podcast commercial free. And I just think that is so impactful. We have a small percentage of our listeners, like not even, is it even 1% of our listeners that are supporting this podcast? And so if it's on your heart, we're asking you to support this. We want to keep it commercial free. You don't want to hear commercials. We don't want to do commercials. And I think that the stream of information is so profound that to keep it uninterrupted is just amazing. So first and foremost, that's what the Patreon community is about. And as we stay in flow with universal law, giving and receiving, we're also contributing a lot of content to the Patreon community. So the Awake Athlete tier is a tier on our in our Patreon community, and it is there and was created and inspired for those who really want to remain steadfast with shifting their vibration, raising their frequency of energy, and truly living in a way that is purposeful and supports the impact that they want to make in the world, right? So somebody might say like, I don't want to make an impact. Well, you are making an impact. Every moment you're making an impact in the world. And so to zoom out and look at what that impact is and fine tune it and direct it and guide it in a way that is for the betterment of you, your community, and the world is really what being an awake athlete is all about. So it's not, I don't feel, it's not overwhelming. Once a week, I do a post. I also record guided meditations. We have an awesome 5-minute pre-workout meditation where you do a little bit of visualizing. This is a great meditation to take into a super challenging workout because it's all about moving from this connection and foundation of calm. And as I've said a million times, when we are calm, we are invincible. And as an athlete, I want to be invincible. You know, like I want to be invincible. So calmness, I have found, is where that invincibility lies. So once a week, I'll do a post. Once a month, we come together as a community. We have a brief check-in. It's about 20 minutes with all the people who are on the call. There's about 9 people right now. We're capping the tier at 11. And then we'll just see. I'll see how that feels. I'll see if we create another community. I'll see if everybody comes together. I'm not sure, right? All channels open here. But currently we have 2 spots available. We come together once a month. We have a check-in. Typically there's a little bit of homework, right? Like for tomorrow, it's just thinking about what kind of impact you want to make in the world. And we're going to meditate and we're going to use mantra around owning our impact. And I think that that's, what a collective force that's going to be. And to come together with these other endurance athletes and realize like you're not alone. You're not weird because you want to meditate. You're not weird because you want to figure out like what this essence of you is. Like there are a lot of people out there doing the work. And then we meditate as a group and I guide the meditation. And then I post the MP3 later on, a couple days later after we do it. So you've got that for download. And the Patreon app on your phone is amazing. It very much looks like Apple Podcasts when you play one of these meditations and you can download them to your files. You can download them to your computer. So even if you end up leaving the Awake Athlete community on Patreon, you still have all these amazing guided meditations for you to help you further yourself along the line to being your best athlete and really experiencing your fullest potential on the race course, in your training, and in your life. The other thing, which was really on my heart, is I had people reach out to me that wanted to work with me one-on-one, but for whatever reason, their budget, it just wasn't happening, or they kind of backed away because of the price. And this is less than one session with me, like less than for a whole month. It's less than 1 hour of time with me, what you would pay for a one-on-one session. And you're getting this consistent yet not overwhelming stream of information and prompts and encouragement to continue to get curious about your purpose and your potential here on Earth. And you've come to all of the meetups so far. And what do you have to speak about it as a participant?
I think it's just a great forum or platform for everyone to share what they're struggling with, and most of what we have opportunities with cross over in some respect with everyone who's in this community. So we're all working through somewhat the same things as athletes. And I think it's nice to know that we're not alone. I think the greater meaning behind everything we do is, we're more alike than we are dissimilar, right? So, and seeing that in a small right now, quality content community, like you can see that that we're all working through similar things, and we're all going to get to the other side because we're all, driven and have that willpower. And that's why Yogi Triathlete exists, is because you found that, the drive of athletes is really, it's really crucial for the navigation to a calmer life that you talked about. They have the will and determination to take that next step, whatever it is that's necessary. And what you're asking them to do is step back from maybe what the thoughts are holding you back, or the hesitation, and we're asking you to take that leap into this arena that will, eventually give you what you want down the road if you continually practice it every day.
And I think another huge message of Awake Athlete, and a message that I'm here to impact the world with, is that we can achieve, we've heard this before, right? Like, we can achieve so much more than what we think we are capable of. But I have another part of that. We can achieve so much more than we believe we are capable of with so much less effort. And for me, in being an athlete, efficiency is so critical to our ability to reach our goals. Being efficient, not wiping yourself out where you get yourself sick and you got to take days off like this. I really am so committed to whoever is interested and ready for this to deprogram this hard work thing. It is one of our greatest flaws as humans, that we have to work so hard. And one thing I've really been journaling about and watching in myself and watching in others is aligning for inspired action versus taking action to align. I got to do this and this and this and this and this in order for this to happen. No, I'm saying you align with it in your meditations and your visualizations while you're emptying the dishwasher. And as you align with what it is that you desire to achieve or obtain in your life experience, you will receive the action that you need to take in an instant, and you will also have the confidence to take that action. It's so much less effort, and it's so much more enjoyable, and definitely less exhausting.
Well, that falls into the mindset, which I believe happens at this time of the year, is on January 1st, I will start doing this, which is going to lead me to this goal. Whereas what you're saying is, well, what happened in December? Did you begin the alignment? Did you begin the feeling of what it's like to do a run challenge every day? Did you feel what it's like? Or did you just, put it up on a bookshelf in storage until January 1st? And then you're like, okay, here we go. January 1st, everything stops from before and it begins moving forward. And that's just feeding that physical, what do you call that? The physical feedback. And you don't always need that physical feedback. You can get the non-physical, which is what you're talking about.
90% of the game.
So
the physical, the hard work, you guys, that's 10% of what's available to us. So if we're just focusing on I've got to do this and I've got to do this and I've got to do this, you're blocking yourself, you're resisting 90% of what's available for you. And that 90% is the void. It's the unknown. It's where the magic is. It's the energy that creates worlds. And instead we go, no, I got to do it all by myself. And that's just it's the ego identified with the world. So anyway, Awake Athlete community, it's super cool. I'm so proud of these guys. I don't know if that's egoic or that sounds crappy to say that, but I am. My heart is so full. I'm so proud of these people for showing up. We've got everybody in there from Ultraman athletes, Ironman athletes, runners, people who, have taken a break and they're getting back to sport and doing what they love, and they're working right now on that alignment so that the action comes with less effort. Oh my God, isn't that so nice? Less effort. Hello. Okay, so what are your intentions for 2021?
What are my intentions? That's, wow, what a surprise question. I feel like I was just grilled on that last podcast too, with Liz and me. What are my intentions? Personally, I want to be consistent with my deliberate creation. So consistent with not.
This is how I find out things about you, by the way.
With not holding back.
Oh, I love that.
There's been substantial growth in the recent years.
Don't talk about death. We're not talking
And
about
we're not talking
death.
about D word, which I guess could be divorced.
You're putting the D word on the DL right now.
But yeah, just be deliberately creating adventures and experiences every moment, because that creates so much momentum. And I think I really felt this the other day. I think we were walking and we got home, and I'm like, just being able to go outside our door, leash up our dog, walk down to the beach along the boardwalk for 10 or 15 minutes and come home. Like the ability to functionally move the body in this energetic atmosphere here in Carlsbad near this powerful grandmother ocean and the sun just beaming on you. Like the appreciation, gratitude for that alone is something that you just can't dismiss. It's a piece of the puzzle. And every day I'm building this puzzle. I'm putting a piece in when I do these walks. And lately it's been walks. And that's what I'm so appreciative for. Just go out and have an experience. Sometimes I will jog for a few seconds with Clark. And sometimes it's just like, hey, he's going to sniff his way we're going to probably accumulate a mile in an hour, but he had a great time sniffing. And that's the experience. And so more of that is what I'm learning is going to allow for the big goals to be achieved.
I love that.
What is your intention for 2021?
I want to continue to just live a really vibrant life. And so for me, that means maintaining my focus on things that bring me joy, gratitude, love, unconditional love, continuing to dive deep with that, the kind of love that allows suffering and pain. I see so many people in pain, and I see choices that they make that's keeping them in the pain, and they're just blinded by it. They can't see that they're keeping themselves in the pain. And that weighs so heavy on my heart because I've lived that. And sure, that's a human projection. Like, I just don't want anybody else to make these mistakes that I made. And then that's a human thing right there, to even think that they're making a mistake. So really continuing to dive into deeper levels of unconditional love, which is truly allowing and raising my vibration even higher. For me, my personal year, based on my chart, this is a year where I'm pretty excited about this, that I planted seeds 2 years ago, and those are going to come to fruition. And I don't know what that is. I mean, I planted a lot of seeds in 2019, so we'll see. And I also realized, it's not just one seed. There's probably many seeds that are going to begin to sprout and come to push up and, come into vision. And so then it will be my job. I'm 100% sure it'll require bravery. So it'll be my job to take the action when I'm inspired to take it. And continuing to follow Awake Athlete and see where she goes and what she needs me to do next. I'm working on season 2. I've been back in my closet and, watching a lot of resistance and ego. Like, this has got to be better than season 1. I think you talked about that in season 1. You shouldn't talk about that again. And all this resistance that, can keep you away from creation. And another thing about my personal year this year, based on my chart, is it's keep creating, keep creating, keep creating. And so I'm going to do that too. I'm just going to keep creating, meaning I'm going to let creative energy move through me, and I'll take the inspired action when it is evident that I need to take it. And that's all about just tuning into your internal compass. So more of what I'm already doing. I have an intention for an epic camp. Our camp this year, February 4th to the 8th. So this podcast is going to drop on the 18th. So there's still time to register. You need to register as soon as you listen to this in order to get all your swag in time, because you're going to get a swag box and you might actually get some things mailed individually that are going to enhance your experience. And I, as a previous event planner, I don't tend to cut corners on things like events and itineraries. And we have an amazing group of athletes already signed up. We've created the Yogi Triathlete Triathlon, which is 2 days. It's Saturday and Sunday. The camp starts on a Thursday and it ends on Monday morning. And so it's so much more than the Yogi Triathlete Triathlon, but you have an opportunity to push some serious miles. I guarantee we're going to really bust through some mental limits in all of the meditation we're going to be doing as a group. And it's going to be all online. We're going to all in on Zoom. We're going to make meals together. There's a lot of little fine details and points that I am working on that will really enhance your experience. And it's going to be led by myself and you, Beej, and Coach Liz. So that is an intention to just have a beautiful, epic camp. And it's already so epic. I'm so excited about the folks that are signed up for it and showing up for it. And it's going to be so much more than we can imagine right now. I love it. I'm so excited for it. I never, if you asked me a year ago, like, if I could be excited about a virtual camp, I'd be like, I don't even really like Zoom. But one of the many, 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 many beautiful gifts of 2020, it really expanded our community through Zoom, the very thing that I was like, I don't really even like it. And I love it now. Oh, here comes the train. We're still in Carlsbad. And I love it now. And we're having a lot of meaningful connections on Zoom. And this camp is going to be just another branch of that. So if you want to be in community with amazing people who are living their best and looking for more purpose and ways to create a better world, come to camp. Come to camp. Yay. All right. So those are my intentions. Live vibrantly.
Yeah, you gotta
love unconditionally. Create, and have an epic camp in February.
I love it.
Yeah. All right. What else do we want to dive into here? Oh, we need an intern. So we were talking to Paula and Eric. I've been talking like most of the time. So you need to. I gotta hand.
You're going.
I gotta hand the mic over here.
I've learned to just.
We need an intern.
Let it flow.
We're not in a position to hire someone right now. We, hired a podcast producer. Thank you, John. You're amazing. We hired a bookkeeper in 2020, and those things have made my life so amazing. And I'm so grateful for those folks. So we're not in a position right now where we'll be able to, bring somebody on for any kind of sizable salary, but we want your really creative, ambitious college student who is looking to get some college credits. We've had great success with interns in the past. Beej and I have been entrepreneurs for a very long time. And we used to have a lot of interns from CU Boulder. And they'd come to the house and totally had like a super cush setup. Like literally, this is not going to happen, but literally like they would get off work and they would come into my massage office, which is at the house, and they would get massage. Like, oh my God.
It was a pretty good setup.
Yeah.
We had both setups at down at our townhome and then at the house. The house was
we had like a 5-bedroom house.
Separate office and, Clark.
Yeah.
They had actually would start to watch, Lost and Harry, our older pups.
It was amazing. They became a part of our family.
Yeah, and they would be hired. The interns, most of them would be hired to work.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Yeah. So if you have a college student, if you are a college student and you're looking to hook up with a couple super cool people who are on a global mission to create a better world, we'd be looking for assistance. I'd be looking for assistance with the podcast, like researching guests and schedule. I spend a lot of time scheduling guests, and I love that. But, and also researching and all of that, like there's a lot of stuff that goes into our conversations, even though we don't go into our conversations with these hard agendas, but we go in with a wealth of knowledge so that we can lead the conversation. So we'd be looking for really like podcast assistant and work with the website. So what do you need with the website?
Basic maintenance of the website, changing out photos and text. And we use WordPress, so it's really easy to get in there and manage.
Social media too?
Social media. email newsletters, typical stuff that I would do with the other interns. So if Lisa Rice, if you're out there, she's back in Boulder.
Lisa became one of our
Lisa
one of our employees, and she would be like, "Can you put the heater on the massage table?" I was like, "Your massage isn't for 2 hours." She's like, "Put it on high."
She's the one who
she's amazing.
Introduced the heating pad on your lap during work. She would come to the house, and I think we kept it pretty chill. And she would have the heating pad on her lap while she worked on the computer.
She'd be warming her hands over a candle. I'm like, is this okay, or does she just really like to be warm?
Working in?
It's like we're gonna have like the labor law people come in. Anyway, we'd really be interested in hearing from somebody. It was funny when we were talking to Paula and Eric, and they were kind of in the same position, and we were like, oh, kind of joking. In that moment, I was like, we need an intern. We really do. So who better for that intern to come than from this community? So if you have an amazing college student or, neighbor or high school student who's just super mature and looking to get, be under the guidance of longtime entrepreneurs, let us know. Yeah, that'd be so cool. Oh my God, I just got the feeling of what it's going to be like to announce that.
And then pick our, opportunity to pick our brains on entrepreneurship, yoga, meditation, training, food, like all of those opportunities exist. We love talking about this stuff. We do it to each other all day. So it'd be nice to have somebody else in on the conversation.
Yeah. All right.
How about an injury update?
Injury update. I'm doing really well. So I've graduated to a minute of running. And so this is how it looks right now. So I went from 15 seconds of running to 30 seconds of running, and now we've built that to a minute of running, but we've never increased the amount of time that I'm running. So I'm going for an hour, no more than an hour. And I've got the physical fitness to do an hour, right? Because I'm biking and I'm swimming and I'm doing yoga and I'm doing strength and I need an intern. So right now, this is what it looks like. 10 minutes walking and then 5 minutes, 1 minute running, 1 minute walking, 1 minute running, 1 minute walking, 1 minute running. 5 minutes walking and then 5 minutes of that same thing. 1 minute running, 1 minute walking, 1 minute running, 1 minute walking, 1 minute running, 5 minutes of walking. And I love it. I love it because I'm running. I love it because I feel amazing. I love it because I get to practice self-regulation and hold myself back. And I just love it. I'm doing really, really well. I'm still doing all my exercises from Dr. Dave. And under the guidance of my experienced coach, I'm back, baby. I am back.
I think it's so important to leave the workout on that high. So leave the workout with more. Like you're coming from a place of no activity, and you've got this, most athletes have this urge of like, I wish I was doing that again. Like I just wish I was running, but right now I'm not. I wish I was crushing trails, but right now I'm not. And so you have this constant pull. But when you're out there and able to celebrate every run that you've done over the past 2 months, like consistently going out and doing 15 seconds of exercise, maybe 30 seconds, up to a minute, like you're constantly ending with joy and happiness and health. And most importantly, that is what's going to carry you through when you get to a race, whenever that is, in the future. You're going to be pulling upon the feeling of, oh my God, I feel amazing. I feel amazing. Not so much on, oh, I wonder when the next step will be where I feel that sharp pain or that sensation.
Or like, oh God, I've heard this so many times. I hope my calf holds out for me. I hope I hope this injury doesn't show up at mile, whatever. And no, I'm not going to feel that at all. I am back. Like I am healed. But that doesn't mean that I need to go out and run for an hour straight.
Yeah.
No,
so,
I've been in this game long enough to know that patience attains the goal.
So now you're in that place where most athletes are probably asking, well, how do I know when? How do I know when I'll be running 30 minutes in that? How do I know when I'll be running that full hour?
Well, that doesn't matter. That's train your mind. That's what you should do with that.
Right.
Train your mind.
But that's where most athletes are. They want to jump ahead to where they were.
Very loving, did it? That was like my fire. Train your mind, damn it.
Well, it's true. I mean, the mind is certainly
It's just, you don't have to be
the root of it.
You don't have to be the servant to your mind. I guess that's why I get so passionate about it. It's a terrible master.
Well, back to what we were talking, you don't have to suffer. This doesn't have to be a lot of work. You can simply just allow whatever the coach or whatever you feel feels best. And how do I know what feels best? Well, strengthen that bond with your inner self. Trust yourself. You can't trust anybody else unless you first trust yourself. So continually practice every morning, spend some time with yourself alone, with your thoughts, and strengthen that bond. As much as the mind wants to, drag you around and get on the ground and have a fight and battle to not sit still, like that's exactly what you need. And then you begin to have that patience that Jess is talking about, which is just allowing these runs to be what they are right now. It doesn't mean you can't get back to where you were before, and it doesn't mean you can't surpass where you were before. So these are just the thoughts that go in our head. Just for right now, do what's on the plan and fully embrace that. And that is what is really going to allow for joy and smiles and happy feet, right?
Yeah, and time and again, right? Like when you just said that thing about like, it doesn't mean you can't surpass where you were. And when you said that, I was like, well, of course I'm going to surpass where I was. Of course I am. There's no doubt in my mind I'm going to. And so a little bit of patience, patience attains the goal. Ooh, boy. Yes, it does. I used to pride myself on being an impatient person. So impatient, like I'm so inconvenienced by everybody. And oh man, put the brakes on. Patience attains the goal.
And that can work the other way too. You can be too patient, I believe. And I've fallen into that role. So how do you know? Self-regulation. How do you gain self-regulation? Strengthen the bond with yourself. Begin to trust yourself. Comes with experience and time.
And be able to discern what's coming from the veil of thoughts, which is your mind, and what's coming from the truth of who you are. Because you're going to get directions from both. Mm-hmm. And so this ability to discern is magic.
It's powerful.
It's so masterful. So speaking of being masterful, we did have somebody who was, we were talking to recently about a late season Ironman and like, what should they be doing now? Like, so let's say you're training for Ironman, late season Ironman, like
California.
Okay, California is a good example. What should you be doing now? Because you can look at the calendar and be like, oh, I've got all these months, and you can just like clasp your hands behind your head and kick back with a piece of straw in your teeth and be like, I got plenty of time. But I don't believe that's what they should be doing right now for Ironman California, because right now is the time where you're starting to shovel that hay into the barn. So what does it look like right now for somebody who's doing a late season Ironman, early 2021? Where do you want them to be right now if they were your athlete?
Build that muscle of consistency. Super, super simple. Consistency every day. Doing a little bit that lays that foundation. Get your foundation wider and wider and wider and deeper so that when you do add on all that race-specific intensity and speed and endurance, your body will be able to absorb it appropriately. So keep things interesting over this time. Things don't have to be 20, 30-hour weeks. It can be 5 to 10 hours a week. Just consistency. Build that muscle now. Build a muscle that maybe you once thought you would come to work through on race day. Start working with that now. So that muscle of consistency, showing up every day, doing a little bit of cycling, a little bit of running, a little bit of swimming, and certainly working on that mindset, working on the ability to visualize your race day. How do you want it to go? How do you want to wake up in the morning? What does it feel like? And start practicing that now. What are you gonna fuel with? How are you gonna fuel your daily workouts? What are you gonna eat in the week leading up to the race? You can practice all that stuff now without making a big deal out of it. Just make it your everyday routine. Make the routine now. So when you get there and closer to race day, this stuff is all, you've done it before. It's all familiar. The mind likes familiarity. It likes to get into that comfort area.
So much so that it'll choose pain and suffering over the unknown.
Yeah, that's so true.
Oh, man.
It will always choose the path that's known, whether it's a hardship or joyful. It's always going to choose the one it's known unless you exercise the muscle of that space between stimulus and response. Always.
And this doesn't have to just be somebody doing Ironman California. Like I know I think Javelina 100, it typically opens January 1st. So maybe somebody's looking to do their first 100K or a late season marathon or even a late season 10K. Like consistency so that, and this is one of my favorite things that you say, BJ, it's like you got to earn the workouts. So now is not the time to go, oh, I've got all this time. Now's the time to be consistent so you can earn the workouts that really allow you. You know how it feels, and I know how it feels too. When you go out there and you look at a workout and you go, oh my God, and then you crush it because you did the 5-minute pre-workout meditation from Awake Athlete. And but you crush it and you're just like, holy, like, watch out world. Like I'm a freaking machine right now. Like, holy crap. My goal is just right there in my hand. I've already achieved it. So consistency now. And if you're an athlete and you have never experienced that, look at consistency in your training, because when you are consistent and you earn those challenging workouts that you're ready for, oh man, there's like nothing better. It's like crack for an athlete, I think.
Yeah, well, you do the work to set yourself up.
Plant-based crack.
You do the work to earn the right for those workouts. And so there's a difference between working with an athlete for a month and then giving them this, Kenyan day, for example.
Kenyan day,
like
yeah.
3 runs in a day. So that could thrash them. And it could set them in a spiral that, the work isn't happening, that they shouldn't be doing this because they can't even do this workout. And so it's the thought process. You got to earn the right to do something like that. And that comes from just diligently doing the work that's prescribed over a set period of time and showing up, working through all that. Build what we just talked about with your run, like finish on top, keep building that muscle of joy and happiness and success. Many little wins every day, and you get to the point where you have this challenging workout that you earned, and on paper you should be able to get through this and overcome it and be ecstatic from it. But you may falter a little bit in it, but you have the tools and successes that outweigh this one tiny little maybe one interval you didn't get. But you have all the successes from the past 6 months to stack up to keep moving you forward. So you're not dwelling on this one little piece. You've had many, many, many successful moments in the lead up to a particular workout, challenging workout.
This reminds me of something I learned really early on with Meditator Bob, because I was so eager, right? I was so eager. And I was like, well, when am I going to learn this? And what's Kriya Yoga? And I want to because I heard that takes you to enlightenment, and I want that, and it's spinal breathing. And how do I do this? And what? Samadhi, you actually stop breathing. I want that too. And I learned really early on with Meditator Bob that when I'm asking for more, I'm not ready for more. So I learned early on, just shut your mouth, do the work, Jess. And when you're ready, he will gift you with those advanced practices that are going to bring you to where you need to go. Because just like with the physical training, and you've heard Meditator Bob say this too, if somebody starts practicing something too soon, they can hurt themselves. You can, in the spiritual world or yoga world or pranayama, whatever it is, you can actually harm yourself if you're doing something that you're not ready for yet. You gotta prep the body, you gotta prep the mind, whatever the work it is that you're doing. You gotta show up every day and do it to your best ability, and trust your teacher or your coach that when those tasty workouts, the Kenyan day, it's just going to show up on your plan someday, and you're going to be like, yes. Because when you're asking for it, well, when am I going to, and I know you get this from athletes, well, when am I going to be able to do this? And when am I going to get a 20-mile run in? And when am I, and you're just like, when are you going to start being consistent?
I just had that.
Did you?
Yeah. When am I going to start running long for my ultra? And I was quite honest. I'm like, as soon as you begin consistently running every week, 3 to 4 runs every week to build up to a longer run. But you've been doing the work towards that ultra, right? In their mind, in the past, they've had longer runs this early in the season. That's great. Where you are right now is not showing me that your body is capable of going 3 times what it has gone to this moment as its longest run. So that's where I think that's really the value in having this guidance, this 10,000 foot view of what's going on, and being able to say, like, in this moment, who you are from what I see to set you up for success. We may need to just keep exercising that consistent muscle. And that consistent muscle is really everything. I don't know how else to say it. Just consistency is everything.
Well, that builds the foundation, right? And you can, as we know, you can build on a shaky foundation. You can build on a weak foundation. I've done it. Like, and this can be spiritual too. Like, if you lack faith or you don't believe in something other than the physical, you can build on that, but you better hope that the earth never shakes, because it is all going to crumble down. And we saw that. We saw that with this unsustainable business model of consumerism that we have here in our country. We saw that this year. I mean, what a beautiful example of this. This is so beautiful. This is a call for us to do things differently, to get out of the 10% and look to the 90%. So, yeah, you can build on a weak foundation. I've done it. And then when the earth shook, my body broke. Time and time and time again. So, yeah.
So how many times do we have to hear that message before we act on the thing that we know that we've known we need to address, and we just keep shifting it away? Because I know you answer it too, but because things are going well right now. Things are going well right now. And
or good enough.
Or good enough. Oh yeah. Oh, it's like weak coffee.
It's
right?
weak coffee, baby.
It's good enough. And I this is something I can speak to. I've experienced it. I know you have too. It's good enough right now. But we see signs constantly. I'm in the realm right now of like, what's the next thing I need to address in my body? Okay, let's work on that. Now's the time. It's come to the surface. Let's work through it.
But it's all for you to strengthen your ability and to fill your encyclopedia of knowledge for your athletes. Like that's what I always see. Like, as I'm burning up my own impurities, mental and physical, I'm always like, oh gosh, thank you. I'm so grateful, because it for me, it's like graduation to the next level, so that I can be, an even better guide on this planet, So, all right. There's one more thing that you wanted to chat about.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. That's this conversation that I was having with someone where, you have these big goals, these huge goals, or maybe just a goal, and you put it out there. You share it with family, or you share it with friends or your community or on social media. And you're quickly hit with feedback, and most of it unsolicited feedback. And
well, is it unsolicited when you put it out there?
Right. Well, your expectation is, I just want to put this out there and show everyone that I'm going for this big thing. And then people contribute their opinions and perspectives to you. And I'll generalize here. Most of those perspectives and opinions, when the goal is epic and big, they tend to place their fear and doubt, their own opinion of things onto you. And if you don't have the ability to sift and sort between what is real and what is not, what is in tune with what you feel drawn to do versus what others expect, and you can't kind of massage that relationship so that you come out standing firm that what you're doing is exactly what you're supposed to be doing, you need to be cautious about who you're sharing this message with at first, right? Because your environment is stronger than your will. So the fear and doubt will impede upon your your goal to achieve whatever it is that you're going after. Let's just say, a big Ironman race or something. So they don't know you. And here's the thing, they don't know your feelings. They don't know the work that you've done. They don't know where you are at this point in life, truly. Like they can't feel the way you feel. So they are sharing their perspective, and their perspective comes from what they've practiced over and over again. So if you're tuning into and listening to what that is, then you're allowing that to dictate how you navigate and move forward. And that's kind of a fearful place to be, because now you're doubting yourself. So the very thing you're trying to do is build that strength with your inner self, that trust. And the energy and feedback of others are kind of tearing that structure that you're trying to build slowly apart. So it's a really interesting place to be, because sharing big goals is important, because you want the energy of the collective to jump on board. Iron Cowboy just announced last night he's going to go for, or James Lawrence, he's going to go for 100 Ironman distances in 100 days, starting March 1st. Amazing. So cool. But listening to his live video, he immediately went to, Ready for Slow Twitch to share their feedback and say it can't be done. And he's like, that's great. But understand that the Iron Cow, or that James has exercised the muscle over and over again of, this is what I'm going to do, and I don't really care what others think. He did 50 Ironmans in 50 days in 50 states with his clan, his family, without any support, and proved everybody wrong. So he has exercised that muscle. So am I saying to go big and declare amazing things like James is doing? Sure, go for it. But the more important message here is that he's exercising the muscle of self-confidence and faith and belief in himself, despite what others are trying to place and put on you to make them feel better.
And James has a really strong faith too. Sunny touched upon it in our podcast, and they do family prayer together and they read scripture together, and that's the faith that works for them, that resonates the best for them, and so he knows that there's higher powers out there to assist him as well. So I think he's got a pretty strong foundation. But remember that everything that we experience in our life goes through the filter of our own minds. And the filter of our mind is based on our past. So as people share their opinions, I always believe that it's always from a heart-centered place, even if the words may not seem that way. When we get to the base of it, they may be scared for this person and they don't want them to be hurt, or they are scared for themselves and they don't want to be hurt. And so it's all going through the filter of their mind. So if we are doing things based on the opinions of others, we're really attuning to somebody else's past. And that seems like kind of a sticky place to try and grow from somebody else's past. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because everything goes through the filter of our mind. Everything. I look at a palm tree, it goes through the filter of my mind, and then in an instant, it's like, oh, that's a palm tree.
Right, and the same perspective could be, oh, great, palm tree. Well, now the husks are going to fall over the road, and then let's just say it's a person who works for the city is going to have to go by and clear all these up. So his relationship with the palm tree may be different than yours.
Right, because then I look at the palm tree and I go, oh, it's a palm tree. And I go, oh, wait, no. What's the truth, Jess? It's electrons and protons. Somebody told me along the way it was a palm tree. We put it in the dictionary and now we all say it's palm tree. Because that's how our world works. Like we have to have these labels. Like the ocean, it's the ocean. But that's not the truth of what it is. It's just electrons and protons. It's just an organization of energy into matter. And yeah, so that's what I think about is I'm always looking for the truth. What's the truth? What's the truth? What's the truth? Because reality, it's real, but it's not as real as we think it is. There's truth underneath it. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can appreciate that there's no wrong or right, like their opinion is what they believe and what they've practiced believing.
And it's their beautiful, unique perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So back to what you can do is just there's create that space between stimulus and response. The comment comes in, and understand that can you have the perspective that they're sharing their own perspective from their past, and that they can have that, but it doesn't have to become one of your beliefs or
but notice
thoughts.
what it brings up.
Yes.
Because there's the
feeling.
gift.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is a gift for you. Everybody in this world is for you. We're all for each other, to teach each other, to show each other that we love, and to show each other that we also can have the darkness. And so notice what comes up. If they evoked fear, oh my God, send them a message. Say, thank you so much. You evoked fear. And guess what? I got to nullify doubt, and I got to get to the other side of my fear today because of you. Thank you. You matter. I really appreciate you in my life.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you
in my life, because you shine a light on my light and my dark.
Me too.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
You guys, we'd love to see you in our Patreon community.
Or at camp.
Oh, definitely camp.
Virtual camp.
Oh my
Come on.
God. Come on. It's going to be so
Run,
awesome.
meditate, yoga. Or run, yoga, meditate.
It's going to be a lot of meditation, a lot of running, we're going to have a strength class with Dr. Dave and Dr. Lindsay, which they're going to record, and you guys are going to have that. Yep. We're going to have make your own pizza night. We're going to have a pancake breakfast, also known as second breakfast. We're going to have that after our first triathlon on Sunday. So anyway, check it out, you guys. It's right on the homepage of yogitriathlete.com. Love, love, love to see you in camp this year and next year and the year after and the year after and the year after.
Yeah.
And stay in this community, you guys. We are evoking a very powerful movement in the endurance sports world. We are all creating a better world. Thank you so much for your support, for listening, for being a part of this. You all sit very dear in my heart.